welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video, I'm wearing no makeup because I'm just gonna test a bunch of new products. Well, at least they were new when I purchased them, but they've been sitting in my bin of makeup to film with. And now that I've just collected a whole bunch, I figured I would put it all on my face. I pretty much have a full face of makeup. So I have this Givenchy. This is the moisturizing compact cream. This one I kind of think is going to be along the same lines as the Chanel Rosy Beige product. So I don't know, I really wanted to try this. I also have two Dominique Cosmetics, the concealer and the powder. Not new-ish, but it's hard for me to get Dominique Cosmetics in Europe here. So I picked those up, as well as the Guerlain Summer Bronzer. They come out with a limited edition every year, so I picked that up. And then the Giorgio Armani Blush. I also picked this up right when it launched, so you can see just how far behind I am. And I also picked up a YSL mini clutch eyeshadow palette. This is pretty new, probably the newest thing that I have. I figured it's about time I sat down and just tested out all these products. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I love it if you stuck around. But now I'm going to just pull you in closer and we're gonna get started. All right, so we're first gonna just start off with, I'm assuming a primer, but they're kind of advertising this as a skincare. I saw the component and I was just really confused. So this is what it looks like. And it's like this cushion application, and then it has the cream here that looks like this with the really pretty marbling effect that Givenchy is known for. So I'm just thinking that it's going to be similar to the Chanel, like I mentioned. So this is supposed to have French pink pomelo for smoothing, wild pink pepper for energizing, and it does have SPF 30. And it says here on the box that it illuminates with a natural, healthy, rosy glow. So that's what's making me think it's like the Chanel. Immediately, skin looks mattified, pores seem tightened, and signs of fatigue seem diminish. Apply over the face after serum to replace face cream or touch up whenever the need arises. So I'm gonna test it out as a primer and just see how that goes, because I'm really not sure. I know that they also came out with a cream, I think, that's not a cushion, and it does feel very balmy, like when I stick my finger in here, and like no color comes up. So let's just see. I really, really liked the Chanel Rosy Beige that came out. I thought that was really nice. And I use it a lot on no makeup days, especially because it does really give the skin this rosy finish. I'm gonna use the cushion that it comes out with. It is much more scented than the Chanel. So if you're sensitive to scents and you're wanting a product like this, go with the Chanel. But I'm really feeling like I need to rub this into the compact multiple times. And it says to use it for touch-ups, so I'm not sure how that would work over a face of makeup unless it means without a face of makeup. That's the only way I could see this really working. I'm gonna just do my forehead here. I have it completely applied. Now with the Chanel Rosy Beige, you can tell a difference. It's very subtle. I doubt it picks up on camera, but you can see like this perfected look to the skin, which is what I love about it. It's so subtle. And this I'm seeing less of. It feels a little less mattifying than the Chanel. And the smell has not dissipated yet. I can still smell it. I don't mind it. It is a very rose heavy scent, but I'm just mentioning that because a lot of people always ask me about the scents, and I don't have the greatest sense of smell. So if I can smell it, it's strong. It does just feel like skincare. And I would say my pores look reduced, and it is a little bit mattifying. It's not bad. I did only have my skincare on, and my sunscreen is fairly glowy that it went on top of. So maybe that's why it's not looking as matte as I am expecting. I'm not mad at it. I'm going to use a foundation that I know very well. I'm going to use my Chanel Beige because this is in my Project Pan and I need to use it. If you like Project Pan videos, I will link that playlist up above. But I'm just gonna apply my foundation real quick, do my brows, and I will be back so we can test out bronzer, blush, and highlight. So now let's go into concealer and powder. I have been wanting to pick these products up forever. So I have the Dominique Cosmetics concealer in the shade Vanilla Cream. And then I finally picked up a pink powder, my first time trying pink powder, and I'm excited. I mean, we're gonna see how this goes. I've been trying to get the Huda one forever, and it just has not been working out for me. So I decided to get this one. I know that there's others on the market, but as long as I was placing a concealer order, I figured I'd get the powder as well. Now, I mainly wanted to try this for the metal tip applicator. I've never tried an applicator like that. I know that this isn't the only brand that does that, but I don't know. For some reason, I just really wanted to try this one. So I'm going to apply just a little bit, and this shade does seem pretty good for me. They don't have the greatest shade range, or it's not very extensive, but they are also a smaller brand. And I'm just gonna use my sponge to blend this out, which is what I would normally do. I like a pretty medium coverage. I don't want it to look too heavy cakey, but I mainly suffer with dark circles under my eyes. For some reason, I sleep in like 4-hour increments and I take a lot of naps, but I cannot get like a straight 8 hours. I don't know what's going on with my sleep schedule, but it really likes to pronounce the dark circles. I'm gonna apply just a little bit more and see if it's buildable. It's doing a decent job covering. I would say it's medium coverage, but I'm gonna see if I can build this up a little bit. And now looking at it, feels like the concealer is a lot lighter than maybe I would want. It's definitely brighter, and I'm nervous with the powder. It's just gonna emphasize the brightness. So I'm also just gonna use this to highlight, I think, just so it's not just under my eyes. We have a little bit going on everywhere. I don't want too much, so I'm just doing very little. And just to go back to the Givenchy Primer Cream, when I was putting on my foundation, I noticed the most beautiful glow and I needed less foundation. I really think that it is a dupe for the Chanel. I don't know off the top of my head which one is less expensive. So you'll have to let me know in the comments, or I'll put a pinned comment or put it in the description box or something like that, but I don't think you need both. So now that I did concealer, let's do this powder, and I need to take the seal off. So it has a little sifter here. The container is actually smaller than I was expecting, which I'm not upset at because I actually don't go through powder that quickly. I'm gonna use like a little puff to do this, and I'm slightly nervous. I know probably everyone and their moms try this pink powder, but I have not. And I'm gonna see how this goes. This might need to be something that I use more for concealer that's my skin tone, not something that's already brightening. I'm just gonna use my puff here to pat it in. I'm not gonna use too much because this foundation doesn't need that much powder. It really is self-setting. Make sure I get the bridge of my nose for my glasses. And that's really it. I don't know if I can like tell a difference, to be honest. I think this is something I have to try more. I can see it, but I don't know if I like the difference between where I can see the powder begins and where my foundation ends. Like it just maybe is not the right undertone because it's cooler and my foundation's a little bit more on the yellow side. So I don't know, I can like see the mark. I'm gonna just kind of blend this almost down and see if that helps. Did help a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know if it's the powder or the concealer, but I'm feeling like my makeup just looks a little bit aged. and dry, I don't mind a matte finish. I do like a semi-matte finish typically, but it's just looking too matte and too aged. Like my skin looks old. So I'm gonna have to test this powder out, I think, a few more times. But let's just move straight along into bronzer and blush. So like I said, I picked up this Guerlain limited edition bronzer. This is what it looks like. It's like the Summer Bloom collection. Very pretty here with the flowers and the highlight overspray. Now last year I did pick up the B version and I already decluttered that. I did not like it, so I'm kind of just clowning on myself here picking up this one because I'm pretty sure that the bronzer that's underneath is their typical shade 3 bronzer, and that's what I didn't like about it. It was just very orange. The embossing got me though, and I'm hoping it's not too much of an overspray. So we're gonna try this and see. I'm just gonna use my favorite bronzer brush. I wiped it off, but it's still a little bit dirty. And yeah, like I barely dipped in and the gold is already gone from where I put the brush. So for sure, at least the gold is an overspray. I'm just gonna see what this is. I have a lot more like high-end products today, like the Givenchy and the Guerlain. And this is also very strong smelling, so I'm just feeling like I'm in this cloud of fragrance right now. And typically fragrance doesn't bother me, but it is pretty strong. All right, bronzer is actually better than I was expecting. It still leans quite orange. If you don't like a warm tone bronzer, this is not for you. I'm gonna try to like dip more into this pink part because maybe I'm getting too much of that orange. I do like a blush bronzer, which is part of why I convinced myself I needed this product. And that's what I was hoping, but like, look how just orange it looks. It's gonna go with my blush pretty well because I think I have a more orange toned blush. Not sure if it's gonna go with my eyeshadow, but we'll cross that bridge when I get there. So just gonna kind of haphazardly throw this on. And I don't know, this is not as bad as the B version, but I think that I'm just gonna have to stop getting these limited edition ones just because of the pretty pan embossing. Let's now move on to blush. I have the Giorgio Armani blush in the shade 30. So it's kind of like this orangey tone. And I picked this up right when it launched. Like I was stalking the website to see when these came out, and I haven't used it yet. So I don't know what my problem is, but we're gonna try it out today. I was really excited for this, and then it kind of just got set aside. And you know, I don't see it talked about at all anymore. So it kind of seems like the entire internet just forgot about this launch and everyone was picking these up. So I'm gonna use like a very small BK Beauty brush to apply this. And so far, this is actually my favorite product so far. It's very blurring on the skin. And Giorgio Armani products are either hit or miss for me. I either love them or hate them. I do not like the Neo Nude foundation, but I do love the Neo Nude cream blushes. And I also have that in the shade 30, which is part of why I picked up the shade 30 in the powder. I thought that maybe they would be good to layer. And I've also just been loving like this orangey warm blush. It does go with the bronzer, I'll give it that. Like it does blend really nicely. So maybe with the right blush, the bronzer is not so bad, but I would never wear like a cool tone blush with that bronzer. This is what we're looking like so far though. Not bad. Very orangey though. Put just a tiny bit here where like I'd get sun-kissed just to kind of tie it together. Now for highlight, I have this YSL All Over Glow. This is not new. It's been sitting in my unopened drawer for a long time. But I figured since I have the YSL Quad, I would try this out. I kind of swatched it right there, but I'm gonna test it out on my cheeks today. I think that this is gonna be a really nice highlight. I have high hopes because when I bought it, it was kind of what I remember hearing is that it was like a subtle highlight because it's supposed to be a body highlight. So I'm just gonna apply this right here. I'm still into the highlight. I know that highlight's dying a little bit, but the millennial in me cannot quit it. And I'm hoping this will be like just a nice in-between version of 2016 highlight and Gen Z highlight, which I think it is. I think you can see it on camera pretty well, but it's very subtle. I actually like this quite a bit. I don't know if I like the highlight or the blush more right now. That was really quick and easy. All we have left is eyes and lips. Now for eyes, I picked this up. I am so excited to try it. I do also have this. I don't know if I'm going to use this today. I got this from YesStyle. Everything I bought with my own money other than this. YesStyle did send this to me for free. And this is the Mony Pencil Gel Liner in like this pink shade, which I am already not like a gel. I'm not really like a liner person in general, but I don't know how I can use this. Maybe in the waterline just to see. Sometimes I'll do a nude, but this is very much like a pink sparkle. I'll see if we have use for it, but I ended up getting the most neutral quad, which is 100 Stora Dolls, I believe. And it's kind of just like this cool toned brown moment that I live for. Very basic, but it is so me. Not sure, like I said, if it goes with the blush, but I'm gonna put it on anyways. Now, this is just gonna be a very simple eye look. All of these are a glitter? No, they're not. Okay, so these two here are kind of like a satin. Here you have more of like a glitter, clearly like the star of the show. And then this dark chocolate brown is a matte. Let me just swatch them really quickly. Here we go. So here's the topper. This one's kind of like a satin along with this one. And then you have the matte here. They are very soft because you can see where I put my finger in there. It's already kind of disappeared. So I think that I'm gonna put this in the crease, deepen it up, use this kind of like as a brow bone inner corner highlight, and then put that all over the lid. That's gonna be my plan. All right, so going in with that first shade, there is just quite a bit of kick up in the pan. Just like with my swatches, I'm gonna just put this a little bit all over the lid, mainly focusing on my crease, but it's gonna get covered up so it doesn't have to be precise. It is much more pigmented than I was expecting. I did not put down any primer or anything. I've noticed that with luxury brands, they typically perform better on the eyes without an eye primer, whereas indie brands or just brands that are using more pigments tend to do better with an eyeshadow primer. That's just been my experience, but that's why I decided not to opt for the primer. And this is just a Singe EO2 that I'm using. I'm probably gonna just stick with this brush, maybe blend it out. Now that I have this all over the lid, I'm gonna just tap into the deep chocolate brown and just very lightly, because it is so powdery and pigmented. Put this on the outer corner here. Not too much depth. And I'm gonna just take a bigger brush and just blend this out. Next, I'm just gonna go in with my finger, take the very light satin and kind of put that here in the inner corner just to add some brightness, but I'm purposely doing this first so that glitter can go on top and really be the star. This would even be just a really pretty look if you applied that more satin light shade all over the lid, no glitter. That would be a really nice, pretty daytime look. But of course, I'm gonna go in with this shimmer topper. It is just this beautiful taupe. And go over all the colors here. This would be a really pretty day to night. Like if you had an office job and you were going out after, you could just use these 3 shades here. And then when you were going out, apply this all over the lid. If you had a job that required just more minimal makeup. I don't think this is too much though. Like this is something I would have worn to my job. However, you kind of had to dress up more at my old job. I worked retail, so they wanted you to be kind of put together. and not minimal office corporate makeup, if that's making any sense. This is so pretty, just like so sophisticated. I love it so much. I'm gonna do the lower lash line now and just go in with that first crease shade. I think it's dark enough for me to do that. Keep it very minimalistic. This is kind of giving me the same feeling I had when I tried the Chanel tweeds, those quads that came out, I think last holiday. I loved those, or they came out for summer. I did a video on them. I'll link it above if you're curious, but this is giving me that same warm and fuzzy feelings inside. I think I will go in with this pencil and just line my waterline for some brightness. Add a little bit of brightness. You can't tell, like you can see the pink. I don't know if you can see the shimmer in the pencil, but it's there. You'll have to tell me if you can even notice a difference. I don't really notice a difference too much. Now I do have just a teeny tiny bit of fallout, nothing bad at all. Maybe could have used a glitter glue, not a primer for that shade, but it's not that bad. So now I'm gonna do the other eye off of camera, apply some mascara, and I'll be back so we can apply the last product, which is lips. Here's the finished eye look with mascara. Now, it was interesting because this eye, I didn't get any glitter fallout, so I'm just wondering if maybe this top layer here just had more glitter and it kind of needed to be warmed up and get through that first layer, because it settled quite more than I realized at first. Like there is quite a bit of glitter here. So it is what it is, but on this side, there's no glitter. So after I test it a few more times, I will report back whether the fallout has stopped. That's just something to note though. Last up, I have lips. I'm just gonna grab my glasses because I am much more comfortable wearing them. Now lips is kind of boring because this is old, but I still wanted to use it because it's been sitting unopened in my drawer like a lot of other products. This is the Pure and Barbie collab, and I figured it was fitting since Barbie's all the rage right now. I have not used this. It's been sitting in the container. The component is beautiful. It's like this ombre glitter. You press the top and the bullet comes out, and the bullet is like this beautiful glittery goodness. So I'm gonna try it. It still smells fine. It smells like a vanilla cupcake. That's not my favorite scent for lipstick, but I figured I basically had a full face. Let's use the lipstick and just see. So I'm gonna apply it. Again, probably doesn't go with my look, but I figured it was nude enough. We'll make it work. Don't think you can get your hands on this. This is the final makeup look though. I'm gonna take my hair down, kind of scoot you back, and just maybe recap my thoughts so far. I think I'm gonna go from my favorite product to my least favorite. My favorite is hands down the quad. I lusted over this and debated purchasing this for so long. I'm glad that I finally did. You know, this is not a have to run out and grab palette. Can you live without this? Yes, but the quality is really nice and I'm glad that I treated myself to it. I do wonder if this is a refillable compact. It kind of looks like it because you can see an outline, which would be great. These shadows are very soft pressed, so I could actually see myself going through this quickly if I use this every day, or if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of palettes and use this often, like I could see someone going through this actually. After that, I would say that my second favorite is the Givenchy Primer skincare infused thing. It's hard to see, but there's just something so subtle about these creams that luxury brands are coming out with that it's hard to explain. I do know that this is refillable. I just popped it out, so that is nice if you're someone who likes that. I will continue using this and compare it next to the Chanel. I might do, just on my own time, a side-by-side comparison and just see what the differences are and report back when I do this product in a roundup. I do always, after first impression, come back with a video, usually just talking about further testing with these products and give a more detailed explanation on just what I'm thinking. After the primer though, I really like this blush. I wish it didn't take me so long to try it because this is for sure just a more summery blush. It does not go with this look at all. I'm gonna try and get some use of it, of whatever summer is left. But it's a really nice formula. There's like that shade that's supposed to dupe NARS Orgasm. I didn't get that shade, and I think that is a lot more of a sheen. This is the perfect in-between of a matte and satin type blush. So it just gives that perfect amount of shine without looking too flat. And I'm really enjoying this color. My cheeks just look very blurred, and that's what I like the most about this formula. Instantly when I put it on, I could just see that blurring effect on my cheeks. And then, you know, I do like this highlighter. I think it's the perfect amount of just subtleness. I could see this being used as a body highlight on my shoulders, décolleté, like in the summer. It's very subtle, it's very pretty. It does have this brush, which I probably won't use, but it does have that if you like to take your makeup out on the go. And then now after that, like things I just wasn't so impressed with, like these are my core. I can't wait to test these out more. Next up, I have the bronzer. I'm really putting this in like the main category. And I knew this when I bought this. I should have known better. I just had a moment of weakness and purchased it because of the embossing, but the Guerlain highlighters are not my favorite. They pull very orange. This honestly is probably ranking a little higher in today's video because it paired so much with the blush. These two I will for sure continue to use together. I think they look really nice together. It's just not my favorite tone of bronzer, and you can even see like on my dirty fingers, how orange it pulls on my finger. And I do like a blush bronzer hybrid, but this is pulling still more orange than like that pink tone kind of bronzer blush. So not my favorite. I'll continue to test it and just see. I think I at least found a way to make it work and not waste my money by pairing it with a more orange blush. So that is nice, but save your money on that one. Like I would 100% buy the YSL quad over this. And afterwards, I have the Barbie lipstick. I have nothing bad to say, but it's not really impressive. It's a nude. You can't get this anymore, but you could easily find this color in probably any brand out there. So it's not a unique color whatsoever. Again, mainly bought it because of the packaging, which I think speaks for itself since it sat in my drawer unopened for how long now. I'm lucky that this hasn't expired. It's probably close to it, but for now, I'm gonna try and get my money's worth out of it before it does now that it's opened, because it probably isn't gonna last long. And then the thing I was least impressed with is unfortunately the Dominique Cosmetics products. And I was really excited for these. I specifically, when my mom went to Arizona, purchased these for her to bring back to me. And I'm sad that I just don't like them as much as I do. I think that I dislike the powder more. I'm gonna try it, but it just is very chalky and too matte on the skin. And so it's not flattering on the skin. I think that it's the powder and not the concealer. The concealer is good, it's decent, it doesn't stand out to me. When I first tried the Givenchy concealer, instantly I fell in love with that, or the Huda Beauty Faux Filter, really like that concealer too. This one was giving me like, okay, it's a concealer, but it wasn't giving me anything special. I like the applicator, it's unique, it's not something that I personally have, so I think that I will reach for this, especially now maybe we're starting to go into fall, into winter. I think the shade match will match me more, but this is something I'm also gonna have to try because I noticed when I was doing my bottom lash line, my concealer was looking a little bit bunchy creasy underneath, and I don't really have a lot of under eye wrinkles. For some reason, like my wrinkles are more my forehead, more right here. So for it to already crease under my eyes and not really have that be a problem of mine worries me, that it's not going to be a great product for other people who maybe do have that as a concern. That would be what I recommend the least. You'll have to let me know down below if you picked up any of these products, if you like this concealer, and what your skin type is. I'm mostly usually interested in the products that I can't make work for me. I want to hear your comments because then maybe I can get an idea of how to make it work better. You'll have to let me know also, like, do you just hoard products and not open them? Because I can't be the only one, right? I'm hoping not, because that would be embarrassing. And then let me know if you've picked up these quads, because this is the newest thing so far that's launched, and I'm really happy I picked this up. I like this quite a bit. Let me know all your thoughts down below, basically, but that's where I'm going to leave you all today. I hope you're having a great one, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, everyone.